Today, I will take you through a yoga class that will make you feel more energized and ready for your day. This session is aimed at reducing fatigue and brightening your mood. So grab your mat and get ready to begin. Kia ora koutou. Nau mai, haere mai. Welcome to Asana with Jess. Beginning in a cross-legged position, our Sukhasana. Bringing your hands into a Gyan Mudra. Thumb and index finger pressed together, spreading out the other three fingers. This creates an energetic seal. Place your right hand on the mat, bringing the left arm over the head. Stretching down the side and alternating, bringing your left arm to the mat this time. And return to center. Shifting onto all fours now. We are going to take some shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders back in nice big circles. Warming up the trapezius muscle and warming up the rotator cuffs. Taking one more. Now tucking the toes under, engaging the core, lifting your knees off the ground. Hover here for a moment, building a gentle heat in the legs. Now slowly straighten out the legs and push the hips to the sky for our very first downward dog. Your legs don't need to be straight, you can have a slight bend in them if this helps. It matters more that your back is straight. Imagining a string pulling your hips to the sky. Begin to bend one knee at a time, deepening the stretch in the back of the legs. Now slowly, step by step, walk your feet towards your hands at the top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Holding onto your elbows, taking some gentle rocks from side to side, elongating the spine and relaxing the head. Now release the hands, grabbing onto the back of the legs, deepening this forward fold. Bend at the knees, drawing the hands to the sky and pulling them down to heart center. Interlace your fingers behind your back and gently pull the shoulders apart. Gaze slightly upward, providing a deep stretch across the top of the chest. When you are ready, come back to center and bring your hands back to your heart. Inhale On the exhale, bring the hands up to the sky and take a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands down, step back into low lunge, followed by the other foot, coming into a plank and taking your chaturanga, either on your knees or on your toes. Pushing up into an upward facing dog. Pushing off the feet, pushing the hips to the sky, coming into our downward dog. Taking a moment here to reset. Raise the right leg into the sky, three-legged dog. Bend at the knee, placing the foot between the hands. Engage the core and come up into our warrior one. Making sure the back foot is on a 45-degree angle and the hips are facing forward. Interlacing your hands behind your back, you're going to pull on your hands, opening the chest, gazing upwards. This is a deep heart opener, stretching your pectoralis muscles. Now release your hands and bring them above your head into our classic warrior one. Draw your hands back to the mat and step back into a downward dog. Pedaling the feet once more if you need. Step towards the front of your mat, bending at the knees, bringing the hands to the sky and lowering them to heart center. Taking some deep inhalations and exhaling, letting it all go. Taking this moment to check in with your body. Now inhale through the nose, bring the arms to the sky and take a little back bend, looking behind you. Coming back to center, bending at the hips, bringing the hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lengthen, exhale, forward fold. Step back into plank and take your chaturanga. Pushing up into our upward facing dog, gazing upwards. Pushing off the toes, hips to the sky, downward dog. Raise your left foot into the sky this time, three-legged dog. Bend at the knee, placing that foot between the hands, making sure the back foot is 45 degrees and coming up into our warrior one. Nice and strong. Bringing the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers and pull on the hands, stretching the front of the chest, gazing upwards to deepen this stretch. Release the hands and bring them back up into the sky. Now draw them to the earth and step back into our downward dog. Now roll vertebrae by vertebrae in a wave-like motion into a plank position, taking a chaturanga and coming up into our upward facing dog. Taking a moment here to refocus, becoming in touch with your body. Where do you feel tightness? What areas need work? What areas need love? Pushing back onto your knees this time, taking your knees as wide as the mat, toes together, and pushing back into a child's pose. Lowering your chest as close to the mat as you can. Focus on the inhales and exhales, the rising and the falling of your chest, the rhythm of your breathing, your prana. When you are ready, move back onto all fours. Lift your left leg out behind you and extend your right arm out in front of you. Parasva Balasana, bird dog pose. To advance this pose, reach your right arm behind your body and grab onto your foot. Push your foot up using your gluteus maximus muscle. Arch the back and look forward. And release from this pose. Lift your right leg out behind you this time, and your left arm out in front of you. To advance this pose, grab onto your foot behind you and push that foot up to the sky, gazing forward. And release from this pose. Now tucking the toes under and pushing the hips to the sky for a downward dog. Roll vertebra by vertebra in a wave-like motion, coming into plank, and take a chaturanga, coming into upward facing dog. Push the hips back for a downward dog. Lift one foot into the air, three-legged dog. Bend at the knee, bringing that foot between the hands and stepping forward into a forward bend. Bend at the knees, bringing the arms to the sky and to heart center. Turn to face sideways down your mat. Step your left leg behind your right leg. Interlace your fingers, bringing your hands above your head and tilt to the right, providing a deep stretch down the left side. And coming back to center. Doing the same on the other side, bringing your right leg behind your left leg, interlacing the fingers above your head and leaning to the left, looking up underneath that right armpit. And coming back to center. For this next pose, a yoga block is optional. Placing it down on the ground beside you. This can help to improve stability in our next pose. Keeping the hips square, we're going to balance on our right leg and lift the left leg up to the side, bringing your arm down to that block or the floor and bringing your left arm parallel, looking up at that arm in the sky. Adding some movement now, we're going to take that arm in the sky, bringing it down to the arm on the ground and bringing it back up to the sky. Repeating this movement, maintaining the strength in your leg that is raised, keeping that foot flexed. And release from this pose, coming into a forward fold. Now vertebrae by vertebrae, roll yourself back up to standing. And we're going to take that half moon pose on the other side this time. So moving your yoga block to the left and shifting your weight to that left leg. Lifting the right leg above you, keeping the hips square, bringing the left hand to the yoga block or to the ground. Right arm parallel, looking up at that arm. Once again, adding some movement, drawing the right arm down to the ground and lifting it back up into the sky, repeating this movement. and releasing from this pose, coming into a forward fold. Lifting up, coming back into a standing position. Bringing your hands to your hips, focusing, getting ready to balance. Place your weight on the right foot and lift the left foot up, grabbing onto that toe. You can stay here, or you could advance this pose by stretching that left leg out directly in front of you, keeping the hips square, bringing that left arm behind you. Maintaining the strength, maintaining the focus, and when you're ready, releasing that foot back to the earth. Take a moment to refocus. Now we're going to do the same pose on the other side this time. Balancing your weight on the left foot, lifting that right foot, grabbing onto the toe. You can stay here, or you can stretch that leg out in front of you, bringing your right arm behind your body at the same time. It's okay if you cannot straighten that leg. You're doing well. And releasing that foot back to the earth. Bringing your hands to heart center, take a moment to reset, thanking your body for your practice so far. Stretch the arms up to the sky, take a mini back bend, and come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step back into plank and take your chaturanga, either on your knees or on your toes. Exhale, upward facing dog. Inhale, pushing the hips to the sky, downward dog. Lift the left leg into the sky, three-legged dog. Bend at the knee, opening up in the hips, stacking those hips on top of one another. Breathing into this pose. Turning the hips inwards, stretching the leg out and bringing it back down into a downward dog. Lift the right leg into the sky this time, bending at the knee, opening up in the hip, stacking those hips on top of one another. Taking some deep breaths. Moving those hips back to center, drawing that foot to the ground, coming back into our downward dog. Roll vertebrae by vertebrae in a wave-like motion, coming into plank, taking a chaturanga, but staying on the ground. Bring your arms beside your body, bend at your knees and grab onto your feet with your hands. Inhale, and on the exhale, push your feet into your hands, lifting your chest off the floor, lifting your thighs off the floor as high as you can. Dhanurasana, our bow pose. Exhale and release back onto the mat. Stretch your body out long and come into a child's pose. Take a moment here to focus on your breathing. Inhaling deeply into the chest and the diaphragm and the tummy, the puku, and exhaling through the nose. Take a moment to thank your body for taking you through this yoga practice today. Think about which parts of your body are sore and need more attention, and focus on sending love and breath, your prana, to these areas. Focus on your legs and your feet. Now focus on your hands and your arms. Focus on your chest, and lastly focus on your face, and take a moment to relax these areas. Breathe deep into these areas and release the tension in your muscles. And when you are ready, bringing some movement into the body now, stretching the arms over the head. Gently roll up onto all fours and come into a seated position, our easy pose, in the middle of your mat. Taking a moment to breathe deeply into the diaphragm, and when you exhale, let it all go. Exhale any bad energy and inhale positive energy. Bring your hands to the chest, bringing them close against your body so you can feel your heart beating. Thank you for practicing yoga with me today. Sending you love and light. Namaste.